Hello and welcome to Property Money Trees Maximising Property Values, the once a month show where I break down the steps of how to recognise, enhance, and then extract the values in property in order to create wealth. Would you like to find out how you can benefit from the steps of maximising property values? This is even if you don't own a property yet or have a deposit. If that's a yes, then you're in the right place to find out. My name is Patricia Faber, and although many know me for my work as a solicitor, on this show you will be getting the benefit of my 30 plus years worth of experience of maximising property values, experience which has given me a net worth in millions. So who might benefit from listening to this show? Literally anyone with an interest in creating property wealth. Welcome back. Today I really just want to encourage people to go speak to their brokers if they've already got mortgages, buy-to-let mortgages, stroke if they're looking to take out a buy-to-let mortgage. And this is why I'm saying do that. Now, I've always been one to kind of like chop and change because I've always wanted to get all of my money out of somewhere really, really quickly. And people who know my story will remember that in 2015, I gave up my career as a solicitor to work in property full time. And so what I've done since then is very different to what I did before then. So let me pick up on a purchase that I made in 2016. So this is where the story actually becomes really enlightening, at least for me, because in the past I would have changed before this particular mortgage came to an end. And had I done so, I wouldn't have saved the amount of money that staying with that mortgage lender has actually given to me. So I'm literally talking. I've worked it out. I'm not good with figures. Other people might be better, but I've tallied it up to be a saving of, well, saving as in I'm not having to pay it, £123,861 over the life of a 5-year fix. Now, people who are good with numbers and good with mortgages might say, oh, well, do you know what? If you hadn't done that, you might not have been paying as much as that. But this is where I'm at. So I bought a house in May of 2016 and paid £470,000 for the house. I spent £122,000 on it. So when I bought the house, my mortgage was with Lloyds. They knew exactly what I wanted to do with the house. It was to convert it into an HMO. They were happy with that. That was the mortgage that I got. And I was on a repayment mortgage. So I was paying both interest and capital. My payments, so I think the loan amount was £297,000 from Lloyds, and I was paying £1,906.47 a month. So remember, that was interest and capital. I let the house in 2017, early 2017, maybe mid 2017, and looked around for another lender because I wasn't too happy with the Lloyds setup. It was the mortgage was on commercial terms, and what essentially that meant to me was that there was a loan to value covenant. So a loan to value covenant means that if you drop below the agreed loan to value, the lender can actually ask you to make good any deficit. And that is why so many property people went under during the 2008 and beyond recession because of their loan to value covenants. Now, with ordinary buy-to-let mortgages, you take out a loan. They say we're giving you a 75% loan to value mortgage, and as long as you pay, everything's good. Everyone's happy. It's all good. But with commercial mortgages, there's usually a term in there to say that your property can be valued, I think usually every 3 years, if not every year. I'm not quite sure. I avoid them, so I can't recall any of the terms. I knew when I took out the Lloyd's one that I was going to be repaying it fairly quickly. Anyway, so they come and they value your property, and if that loan, and you pay for the valuation, and usually the valuations they're quite hefty. With the Lloyd's one, I think they were talking about £3,000 after I finished my works. So they come, they value, and if you're not meeting that loan to value agreement, you're in breach of the mortgage, and they can actually ask you to repay the whole thing. Nightmare situation for me. I'm very risk averse as a person, and I don't like variables that I have no control whatsoever over. It was too much of a nightmare situation for me. And so I knew I was going to come out of that loan. Anyway, so once all the works had been finished, like I was saying, I looked around for a new lender, found a lender who valued the property at £800,000, and they were therefore happy to lend me £600,000 on a, was that 75% loan to value. So my borrowing has more than doubled, but I was able to get all of the money that I'd put into that property out. Now, I also opted for an interest-only mortgage, and my payments were £1,932.90. So remember, I was paying Lloyd's 1906.47, but that included capital repayment. And this one, as an interest-only mortgage for twice the amount, was costing me 1932.90. I was ecstatic. So more or less same payments, but I'd clawed out all of my money, and I had a house to boot, which was making mega money. So I think on that house in 2017, when it was let, so it was a 6-room HMO. At the time, I'm going to go through them as in rooms 1 to 6. One was 750, 2 was 850, 3 was 800, 4 was 850, 5 was 800 as well, and 6 was 800. Today, one is, and again, most of these people haven't even left, but these are the amounts. Today, the rents are, one pays 825, 2 pays 950, 3 pays 850. He's been there from day one, and I'm being very generous. 4 pays 900. Again, he's been there from day one, and I'm being quite generous with him, and he's actually in the process of buying, so I'm not going to increase his rents. For room 3, it's going to have to go up. Anyway, room 5 is 9. 920, and 6 is 895. So you can work out the figures. This property just keeps on giving, and there's no more of my money in there. Anyway, so I swapped out from Lloyd's in November of 2017, 5-year fixed, paid a 2% arrangement fee. So clearly that mortgage was coming to an end in 2022, November 2022. But we know what happened with the mini budget, and everything went fripping crazy. However, this particular lender will try and hold on to good payers, people that they want on their books. So they said, if you stay with us, you can pick any of these mortgages. And so this was before the mini budget. And the one that I wanted was a 3.12% 5-year fix, which had an interest only repayment of 1764.35. So this is less than what I paid, or what I've been paying over the 5 years since I first took out the mortgage. Then the mini budget happened, and then all of that disappeared. But they then wrote to me to say that they'd honour that. Now, and I'm now in this new mortgage, which started at the end of November 2022, 30th of November, actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm paying that. Now, the difference between the two mortgages, so let's assume that the mini budget didn't happen. This new mortgage would be saving me £168.55 per month, which amounts to £2,022.60 a year. So if you then multiply that by 5 over the life of the new mortgage, that is £10,113. So that is, nobody can argue against that. That is how much less I'm paying in this new mortgage than I was paying in the previous mortgage with the same lender. Now, if this lender hadn't done that, I'd have had to have gone out onto the open market. This is a limited company HMO. The rates at the time were 6 point somethings. So I remember I'm paying 3.12. So 6.5, 6 point whatever. If we just multiply that by 2, you begin to see what I'm talking about. So if we multiply that by 2 as to what I could have got on the open market, that then gives you an idea as to how much money this new mortgage is saving me from having to pay out. Because I would have been paying at least another 1764.35 a month. Now, if you multiply that by 12, it gives us £21,172.2 £21,000 extra every year. Now, over 5 years, that would amount to, or would have amounted to, £105,861. Now, if I'd had to go to a new lender, they would have charged me an arrangement fee. Now, arrangement fees at the time were minimum 3%, 5%. So let's just go for the minimum. The minimum arrangement fee that I'd have been paying would have been £18,000. £18,000. If I'd had to pay 4%, that would have been £24,000. 5% would have been £30,000. So add those to the 105,861 and you begin to see how much money I'm not paying because of this lender. I bet everyone who's listening to this is screaming at me and saying, who is the lender? Who is the lender? Who is the lender? I'm not plugging the lender because I'm being paid any fee. I'm not being paid any fee. I'm sharing with you how good being with this lender is for me, how amazing it's turning out to be for my purse, how absolutely fantastic it is for my bank account. And the lender is Kent Reliance. Now, I'm not saying that they will do that with everyone, and I'm not saying that those rates are still available, because they're not. I know that for a fact. But whatever the rates are, you can be certain that they will do, well, based on my experience, well, I feel certain that they will do what is right and what is fair. They reduced my payments. I was with them. They reduced my payments. Even before, any of this kerfuffle happened, the mini budget happened, and they've honoured what they first said I could choose from. Now, they'll do that anytime. Okay, the rates are going to be different, but that is decency in a world where we don't often see it. Now, obviously, people need to speak to their brokers. I've had this discussion with a broker, and he says it might not be the best thing for you. And that is absolutely true. However, in my situation, there's no doubt in my mind that this was the best thing for me. And they valued the house at £975,000. So this was valuation maybe September, October 2022, when they first said to me, pick one of these and you can have it, if you choose to stay with us. So everything is good. And I didn't want to take any more money out of that house anyway, because there comes a point when you can claw out and claw out and claw out. And then when stuff hits the fan, it can become quite difficult to actually pay it back. Now, if Kent Reliance didn't offer what they normally offer, and hadn't offered me what they offered me, and I'd had to go out onto the open market to get a new mortgage, yes, I would have survived paying, £3,500 interest a month, because as I shared with people, that property is the cash flow is very healthy. However, you just don't know. And if you keep on borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, there comes a point where you could be borrowing yourself into a hole. So anyway, that was my thinking. And that was why I thought, I'm not going to take out any more money, because I could have taken out, I believe, I didn't even explore it, I could have taken out some more money to take me back up to 75% loan to value, because I was down to, I think, 65%-ish loan to value based on their valuation of the house at 975. They did a desktop. They didn't come round to actually have a look. And no, I didn't do that. I thought, I've already clawed out and some all the money that I paid in when I bought the house. I'm just going to leave it be. Nice to have a cushion, and cushions in your portfolio. So just really wanted to say to people, speak to your lenders, see if they have a similar scheme. Speak to your broker, say to them which lenders do what Kent Reliance does, because, happy to pay a bit more up front to be with a lender that's decent. So Kent Reliance is a Provident Society. So I think that is a society that cares for its members. And when you take out a mortgage with them, or you open a bank account with them, I don't quite know how one would do that. But I've just got mortgages with them. Then you are a member of that society, and they invite you to annual meetings and all whatnot, and you can vote on stuff. I tell you, I'm loving it. So I just thought I'd share with people today. Go speak to your broker, ask the question of your lenders. Do they have a similar scheme? And I'm now looking to see which of my other mortgages I can swap over to Kent Reliance, because I love Kent Reliance. On one of my mortgages that I used to pay £671, I'm now having to pay £1,313.65. That's near enough more than twice. So, yeah, this is why I am loving Kent Reliance and wanting to share about it. A company that's going to save me at least £123,861. So that is what I would have been paying if I'd gone to someone else, plus a minimum of a 3% arrangement fee. Do you know, I'm in heaven. £123,000, nearly £124,000 over 5 years. Now, what's that going to do to the health of my bank balance? So, can I actually be disciplined and put this money to one side as if I'd actually taken out a new mortgage? Well, actually, not quite, no, because the mortgage has been running since November. This podcast has been recorded to be released for the 1st of April, and it's not an April Fool's recording. All of this information is actually true, it's live, and if anyone has any questions, hit me up. You guys, my regulars, I guess, you know how to get hold of me. And if you are new to this podcast, you are welcome. I hope you enjoy what you've heard, and if you need to get in touch with me, don't hesitate to email me, patricia@propertymoneytree.co.uk, or you can find me on Clubhouse, usually most weekday mornings between 8:30 and 9:30. Again, if you are on Clubhouse, just search for my name, Patricia Ogan Faber, or you can search for Property Money Tree. That will bring you to my profile. Once you get to my profile, if you tap on the bell icon and you turn notifications on, you will be notified every time that I speak on Clubhouse. But for everyone, I hope you are doing well in this a situation of higher interest rates with our mortgages. But we will survive if our businesses are built on solid foundations. The tremors here and there are not going to make our buildings collapse. Pardon the pun. Anyway, do take care, and hopefully you'll be back next month to listen to what I've got to say then. And in the meantime, take care.